Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is John Nyaga. I am an artist and your art teacher. And today we are going to be talking about something very interesting, and that is drawing in one point perspective. Now perspective sounds scary, but it is, when you break it down, it really isn't that complicated, and we are going to do it in this lesson. The lesson itself is going to be divided into two parts. In part one of the lesson, we will get to understand the terms that are used in perspective drawing. We will also draw a box in one point perspective, and then in the second part, we will turn that box into a table. So join me and let's get started. Now on the screen, we have a photograph of a beautiful scenery, a landscape, and it is going to help us to understand the terms that are used in perspective drawing. And the first term is horizon line. The horizon line is the first line that we draw when we want to represent a three-dimensional object on a flat surface in perspective. Now, the horizon is the point where the surface of the earth appears to meet the sky. And in this photograph, it is quite clear. The blue of the sky ends where the brown of the ground begins. So that joint there is what is known as the horizon, and in art we represent it using a line. The second term is the vanishing point. The vanishing point in art is where two parallel lines appear to meet in the distance. In this case, you can see two white lines representing the edges of the road, and they appear to be moving closer and closer towards each other until they appear to meet somewhere in the distance. Now, where they appear to meet is what is known as a vanishing point. And then the third term is the eye level. The eye level, just like the term suggests, is the level of the eye of the observer, in this case, the artist. So as an artist, you have to imagine that you are like a photographer. The level of your eye will affect how we see things, because remember, we draw things as we see them. Now on the screen we have three images which are going to help us understand those terms a little bit better. Starting with the horizon line, what I have done is I have manipulated image B and image C on Photoshop. Image A is the original photograph. In image B and C, I have separated the ground from the sky, and this is going to help us to manipulate the horizon levels to see what happens when you take them higher and when you take them lower. So in image A, the horizon line is in what is known as the normal position, or the normal eye level, all right, where the person who took this photograph was simply standing on the ground. Now let us see what happens when we push the horizon lower. When we push the horizon lower, then it ends up looking like the person who took this photograph was actually lying on the ground. So when you want to draw things, or when you want to take pictures of things which appear, and those things appear like they were seen from way below, then you draw your horizon line lower. Let us now see in image C what happens when we raise the horizon line. And there you have it. It appears like the person who took this photograph was standing way above the ground, as if he was on top of a tree. So as an artist, when you want to draw things to appear like they were being viewed from above, then you simply draw your horizon line high. All right, so that is the effect of the horizon line going higher or lower. Okay, now we are ready to draw a box in one point perspective. The first thing we are going to do is to draw our horizon line, and that is a horizontal line splitting our page into two halves. Now it does not always have to be in two halves, but for this purpose we are going to do that. So draw a line running across the middle of the page, a horizontal line. Once you do that, then you are going to mark a place somewhere in the center of the line with an X, and this marks the vanishing point. That is the second term we learned. And then once you do that, we start drawing our box. We are going to draw the box below the horizon line and to the left. You can draw it anywhere, but in this exercise, we are going to draw it below the horizon line and to the left of the vanishing point. We are going to start with the face of the box which is closest to us, and that is what you normally do when you're drawing something in perspective. You draw the part which is closest to us, and we will see why very shortly. So we are going to start with a square which represents one face of the box which is closest to us. So we draw a horizontal line, a vertical line, another vertical line, and another horizontal line. And we have a square now representing the face of the box. The next thing we are going to do is draw now what are known as perspective lines. These are lines which guide us on drawing this box in perspective. I am choosing to use a different color so that we can see the difference clearly. And perspective lines are drawn from the corners of the box. Let us start with the corner in the middle there. So we draw a line going from that corner to the vanishing point, and then the other corner to the vanishing point, and the third corner going to the vanishing point. And there we have now the perspective lines, all which end in the vanishing point. After that, the next thing we are going to do is now determine the width of our box, or how deep the box is going to go along the perspective lines. And we are going to pick a point and draw a horizontal line between the first and second perspective lines, and then a vertical line ending at the last perspective point. And the next thing we do now is we join the corners of the box by drawing lines along the perspective lines up to the edge of the box which we have already created. And the final one, and the black lines now represent a box in perspective. And that is how you draw a box in 1 point perspective. Now, an important thing to note is that this is known as 1 point perspective because there is only one vanishing point where all the lines go. Alright? We will see other types of perspective where we have different points, like in 2 point perspective where we have lines going to 2 points, and in 3 point perspective where we have perspective lines go to a third point. But that will come in a different lesson. So there you are, you have drawn a box in 1 point perspective. Now that we have learned how to draw a box in 1 point perspective, we are going to draw two more. One across the horizon line and another one above the horizon line, just for the purpose of comparison, so that we can understand the issue of the horizon line and the eye level much better. So we draw a line cutting right across the horizon line, the vertical line cutting right across the horizon line, and then a horizontal for the top of the box, another vertical, and another horizontal. Using a different color for the perspective lines, color green, once again, we draw lines going from the corner of the box to the vanishing point. Another one going to the vanishing point. Now this time we only have two lines because when the box is sitting right across the horizon line, then we cannot see the bottom of the box, we cannot see the left side of the box, and we also cannot see the top side of the box. So we can only see the right side of the box. And that is the big difference between when the box is sitting right across the horizon line and when it is below. And then using color black, we will draw the edge, the inner edge of the box, and then darken these are the two lines. And then using an eraser, we are going to remove the horizon line so that now it does not seem to be interfering with the box itself. We remove that. You can do the same with your eraser. You remove the horizon line, and there we have a box in 1 point perspective, but sitting right across the horizon line. That means that now your eye level is in the middle of the box. With the one below, our eye level was above, and that's why we can see, that's why we could see the top of the box, and we could also see the side of the box and the front. But when the box is right across the horizon line, then we can only see the front and the side, because our eyes are right in the middle, and we cannot see above and below. Now let's see what happens when now we have yet another box above, way above the horizon line. So we start once again with the vertical line, and then we have a horizontal line, another vertical line, and another horizontal. Use an eraser to remove the extra bit of line there. Then take green color once again for the perspective lines. Let's see how many we make this time. We have that corner, and then this other corner, and that other corner. So we can see 3 sides, the front, and then the right side, and the bottom side. And then once again, we start with the vertical line for the edge of the box. Sorry, we need to pick a black color. A vertical line for the edge, and then a horizontal line for the other edge below. And then we darken the other lines for that face. And there we are. And we have another box above the horizon line. And this time what you realize is that since our eyes are way below our new box, or the third box up there, we are able to see the bottom of the box and not the top. We cannot see the top because our eye level is below. Our eye level is below the box. So we can see the bottom part, and we can also see the right side and the front face. And there you are. I believe from that little exercise you have now understood the effect of the eye level and also the horizon line, and what happens when you're drawing things above the line. Then you see the bottom of those things. When you're seeing things which are right across that line, you see just the front and the side. And when the things are below that line, then you see the top and the side and the front. Right, that brings us to the end of the first part of our lesson on drawing in 1 point perspective. In the second part of the lesson, we will turn one of these boxes into a table. And for your own practice, I would urge you now to draw more boxes to the right side of the vanishing point. This is for you, for your homework and for your own practice. Draw boxes in different positions. Draw boxes in different positions. They don't have to be the same positions as we drew in this lesson. Bring them to the right of the vanishing point. Bring them way above, way below. Make it bigger. Take it further along the line. You can draw another box even to the left of the ones that we have drawn. Have fun with it. The only thing to remember, and it is extremely important, is that this is 1 point perspective. So all the perspective lines that you draw, no matter how many boxes you draw on this same page, all the perspective lines have to start from the corners of those boxes to this point. The lines that I represented here using green, please take note of that. All of those lines have to come to this one vanishing point. If you take them to any other point, then you will not be drawing in one point perspective. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments. I will also leave my number, my WhatsApp number, and email address. And if you have any questions or suggestions, please feel free to get in touch, and I will be more than happy to assist you. Otherwise, please join me in part 2 of the lesson, which is going to be in the next video. Bye for now.